Hot Rod Bob Beck, and you've got gas. The great American auto scene. It's another Wednesday night under the lights here, high atop the Gas Studios in beautiful downtown North Hollywood. When with us right now, and I'll get him to stop laughing in a moment, is the wonderful Bruce Barker.
What? Me laugh? Never.
Never. Now behind us is a newcomer. Or alongside us. There it is. I mean, yes. The typical blonde she is. It's Anna. I like my heels high and my cars low.
Oh, that's who that is. Anna walked into the studio backwards, and I had not seen her face until just now.
I know, it just she just had one of those days. No, what?
Right. How about this?
What? How about that? Double vision. I can see it now. Yes.
Oh, baby, give me forehead.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, if you're listening to this on radio and going, what is going on? Check the archives at gotgas.com. That's what's going on.
We got it going. And we are going to have a great night. We got a lot of people going to call in. There's a brand new Hurst. I keep getting that wrong. Hurst car coming out, and we got to preview it this last weekend at CBS Studios on its inaugural release, I guess, introduction.
Nice.
And we also put that on Facebook. It is on the Gas page on Facebook if you want to watch just the review of the car last weekend. But we're going to have Larry, the guy that built the car, calling in a little bit later on. We've got the new sales brochure for it. If you like Dodge Challengers and you remember the Hurst cars of the past, you're going to love this car.
You know what I want to know, Bob, is what does it feel like when you say, we run the CBS lot?
Oh, yes. We were in the back lot.
And then we went over to Warner Brothers.
Yes.
Had a cocktail.
I've been there. My son worked at Warner Brothers.
Is that right?
Yes. He was the fire captain at Warner Brothers Studios.
Hey, Anna, what's the word about firemen?
Oh, I have a shout out.
Exactly.
To the NHRA fire safety crew.
Okay.
Yeah, so Safety Safari.
Yeah, them too.
Those guys. Yeah.
I want to say hi because they're hot and they know how to handle a big hose.
Okay.
Ooh, and the show went to commercial and never came back.
Stormy, you left her out in the heat too long today.
Can I say something? You know what I did once? I drove up next to a fireman, and they were in a fire truck. I drove up to the red light, and I rolled down the window, and I yelled at one of them. I said, "Hey!" And he looked down. He had his things on, his earphones. I said, "Hey!" And he took one out, and I said, "I'm on fire. Put me out." And I drove off. And he put his things, and he went like that. I just took off because I got scared.
Well, firemen it's a wing of law enforcement, right? Maybe there was some law against that.
Yeah, I think probably after he stopped laughing, maybe he would have thought about something. But other than that, he goes, another blonde.
Another blonde.
Yes. Another blonde.
But he thought I was cool because I was in my 66 Mustang. And women in cool cars are just cool.
And speaking of that, we're going to be talking about the favorite cars in the United States for collectors.
Oh, neat.
We have got people calling in on that. We're going to tell you more about that a little bit later on. In studio, we have got a young lady who's the docent at the Automotive Driving Museum, and she's also a makeup artist and a co-member of our club, the club we belong to, the Television and Motion Picture Car Club. So we've got Cynthia.
Say hi.
Hi, everyone.
Wait, you're a makeup artist?
Yes.
Why in the world didn't I should have had the treatment before we went live. It's too late now. In fact, it's been too late now for like 30 years.
Well, see, the other thing, too, is we kind of confused Cynthia. She came in the studio, and she got dressed for a radio show. Then we told her, no, it's live, and it's visual as well. And she went, uh-oh. So we
She does special effects.
Yeah,
she can make us all look young again.
It's going to take a lot more.
Or she can turn us into monsters.
She's got to do that for me.
It could go either way.
The monster part's easy for me, I'll tell you what. But anyway, we're going to be talking to her about an event coming up at the Automotive Driving Museum in El Segundo, California, where some of the top ladies in drag racing are going to be assembled for a panel discussion. And I have to give a shout out to Jack Beckman. I really want to thank you again for not being able to attend an event. This is the second one I've replaced you at this year, and it's just wonderful. Jack, I do appreciate it. Jack Beckman, a great guy, been a friend for a number of years since his days at LA County Raceway, where he was a bracket racer out there. And I took the the driving school from him at Frank Holley's driving school.
As did I.
Yes. And he was the lead instructor for Frank Holley for many years, and now driving that funny car. He's an amazing driver and a super knowledgeable person about drag racing and the history of drag racing.
So you're thanking him. He had to duck out of an event for scheduling reasons. You got plugged into, and you're thanking him because...
I got plugged into it. So he's not showing up, so I'm going to be there.
Man,
I mean, this is great.
You know
Jack,
why?
You've given me a lot of work. I appreciate it.
We know it's true because Bob's name is right here.
It's right there. They put my name on the flyer.
That's pretty
sweet.
So,
you got to come out to it. It's going to be an all-day event. We'll have Cynthia talk about it a little bit later on, and we're going to have Tara calling in from the museum, and she's going to tell us a little bit more from the museum's internal perspective of it. Anna and such and you were down there too this morning, weren't you?
Yeah, you know what? We loaded in pedal cars. Show the pedal cars. Those were
you
cool.
could get arrested for that.
Cool. They're so cool.
Pedaling.
We had Tara and Cynthia and Michelle were kind enough to ask us to bring them in to show the kids, and they'll be there for the events for the Women in Racing and also the Gasser event with Bones Balo and Ed Iskandarian.
Oh, Ed.
So they'll be there until August.
Okay, so this is just a teaser shot, but I'm fascinated by the fact that the very first photo we pulled up has got your name on the door. What's this about?
You should see her try and get into
Stormy built that. That's for the Pedal Car Drags, which is an event that we do to encourage children to get involved in motorsports because they're conservators of cars, the vintage cars in the future, and they get dragged around car shows and scooters. So I partnered with Sergio Prada of Henry's Upholster, who makes custom strollers, and Stormy and Tom Cunningham, and we're building these little pedal cars for the Pedal Car Drags. And that happens at the Rockabilly Extravaganza every November after Thanksgiving at Riverside Airport. And this is one of them that we put the kids in and race.
That's cool.
We actually push them, and they get candy and crayons. And Stormy built this one. This is the first one, and that is a Murray Fire Chief from the 60s.
Now, you displayed that the first time at the... what is the Primer Nationals?
Grand National Roadster Show.
Grand National Roadsters before that in January, and then you were out at Ventura Fairgrounds.
Right.
For, what do they call it now, Ventura Nationals?
The Ventura Nationals,
right.
but we actually showed the other car, the other one. I don't know if... Was that one there? I can't remember because I'm blonde.
I don't think it's just because you're blonde, but okay.
Well, there's another one called All Jacked Up because it's a nosebleed. There it is.
There it is.
All Jacked Up.
That is a sweet little gasser.
Isn't that sweet?
That's got a bigger carburetor on it than I have on my car.
That is an AMF Pacer from the 60s.
Wow.
And we have the perfect driver for that vehicle.
Okay.
I cannot believe that carburetor.
And that's a real carburetor. I think that's a Holley.
Yes, it is.
A Holley.
Oh, yeah, the float bowl.
It is a Holley, yeah.
Stormy was nice enough to donate that to the project. And those two cars and 5 others are at the Automobile Driving Museum.
Oh, that's going to be great.
Yeah.
Man, that is. So I know we've got a lot of photos to see later when we're talking about that. So that and more.
Yes, and we're going to now. Usually, this segment is going to be about what laws are pertaining to the hot rodding and muscle car industry. We're going to forego that this week, and talk about the pedal cars and some other things. Now, one of the things that we're all doing is this last weekend we did a show for the at CBS Studios. We got to be in the back lot. They wouldn't put us in the front lot. They had to hide us in the back lot. No, the back lot's a fun place because that's where all the different sets and facades are. But we did a show, and it was for the Television Motion Picture Car Club, and all 3 of us, Anna,
Cynthia, yes.
Oh, it's one of those nights. And
are
Cynthia
you blonde?
Yeah, naturally. It's chrome. We were there. We had our cars on display, and we saw a lot of great machines. One of the other members that we've had on the show here, Randy Cardoon, talking about Cars TV show or radio show. He was, or podcast. He was on broadcasting live right there from the show.
Barry McGuire was there.
Right.
And Robin and Orame Millar were there. It was fun. Flavor of LA was having their food festival.
Oh, it was great.
Phenomenal food.
Oh, I thought you said flavor of Olay, like the
Flavor of LA.
Olay. No, LA, like in La.
Hey, you know what, Bob? What do you think? Should we just pick up this live call?
Let's pick up this live call and find out what's going on.
This is live television. Hello, it's Great American Auto Scene.
What's going on, Roger?
Roger, where are you?
I am in Phoenix, Arizona.
Okay.
To talk about the most popular classic cars in the United States by state.
Oh,
nice. Yes.
We want to know that.
We want to know. And what organization are you with again?
It's ClassicCars.com, and we are out of, like I said, Phoenix, Arizona, where it was 103 today.
Oh, 103. Wow. And I was boiling in our 70-degree weather here. Better here than there. You know, I understand that when you live in the Phoenix area, you will search in a parking lot for shade for hours.
Yeah. Absolutely, and well worth it, I might add. The sun is... it's brutal, quite frankly. It's brutal.
All right, tell us a little bit about your website and your organization.
Great. So ClassicCars.com, we have about 3 million unique visitors per month, and we've got about 30,000 cars for sale. And a couple of things also that sort of stand us apart. We have a blog called The Daily News for Classic Cars, and we've got about 250,000 readers a month on that as well.
Wow.
And so our job is really we help people buy and sell cars online, but also for enthusiasts, you know, do stories about various events that are out there, and also maybe some fun things. And one of the articles that I think may have caught your attention, Bob, was our article about the favorite cars by search across the United States by state. And it was kind of interesting, some of the results.
Yeah, you did it. You know, you put this up, and it caught my attention. We were going to put it on the show anyway, just as a discussion piece. And then I ran into the people that represent you out here in California this weekend at the TMPCC show and figured, you know what? You're the people that did it. Let's talk to you directly and tell us a little bit about it. Now, one of the things I did read that I remember, because there's very little that I remember mostly, is the Mustang was one of the most popular cars by state of any other car around.
That's right. In fact, the Mustang was number one in 13 states around the country. And the interesting thing about that is not just the East and West, but also in the middle of the country as well. So it was widely populated, you know, as far as popularity is concerned. And there were some surprises, you know, like in some cases, some things, of course, make a lot of sense. Like in Hawaii, the number one searched for car was a 1969 Chevrolet Corvette. That makes sense. Probably convertibles is that. So very, very popular cars.
And they don't rust in Hawaii. Fiberglass doesn't rust.
I noticed they're all 60s era vehicles primarily.
Well, yes, number one, we're at ClassicCars.com, so a lot of our cars, of course, are, you know, over 20 years old, as far as, you know, for sale and all that sort of stuff. So, and the searches are all for classic cars. So this is really in that category.
And what you're showing, though, is showing where the market's going today. I know we talk to a lot of people. I talk to a lot of people every day on classic cars and collector cars, and we're finding that, in general, the 20s, 30s, and 40s cars are losing popularity.
Yes.
And some of the 50s cars are losing popularity in favor of the 60s, 70s cars.
Well, that's very true. And an interesting thing about that, too, Bob, is that even that is starting to shift, of course, with the next generation. So picture anybody that's on their 25th high school reunion, for an example, right? Mm-hmm. Going back to 1992, they're about 42, 43 years old. This is the group that's the next generation of collectors or classic car buyers coming through. And what we're noticing and starting to see quite a bit is that Japanese cars are becoming more popular, and especially the 280Z and the NSXs and cars like that. So there's always a shift, but it's a generational shift, and it is starting to take place.
Yeah, I've tried to explain that to a few people that don't understand. They keep saying, well, I've got a 20s vintage, like a Model A Ford, and I don't understand why it's not worth $50,000 now. And I go, well, because you're the only one that's buying them, and you're 90 years old. The market has shifted. People want a car that's not only representative of the era they grew up in, but something that can actually lock the door, have air conditioning, and all those fun things that we add to our hot rods, but it's a different thing. What do we remember when we were young? That's what we're recreating. The car that you wanted when you were a kid, And that's what they're doing now. And like you said, 1992, and I think about that, that wasn't that long ago, to me anyway. And
that's right. And that's very true.
And that's a collector
and I think you hit it right on the head. I mean, the whole hobby and industry is wrapped around passion. And these are cars that have very specific meanings and very specific memories, you know. So people it's truly a labor of love. And let's face it, all of these cars are old. They're not going to run great or anything like that. Even the cheapest new car, technology-wise, is better. But boy, the look of them is just fantastic. The thrill of riding, the thrill of feeling that motor underneath you, all of those things is what creates the collector car hobby.
Yeah, well, one of the things that I was looking at, too, that is kind of interesting is one of the states, Pontiac Grand Prix.
That's right.
Really? I mean, I like Grand Prix. Don't get me wrong. I like the 64, 65 Grand Prix. I think they're beautiful. But for a whole state to be the most popular car in a state, a 1963 Grand Prix, I mean, really? Now, I did notice...
Well, this is one that'll blow your mind. Yeah. In Alaska, it was the 1964 Dodge Polara.
How about that?
Bruce, your hometown.
Wow. And you know what? I am from Alaska, Roger, and not one. I kid you not. I never once saw a Dodge Polara up there. But again, I was in a tiny little town, so it doesn't really count. There's really only one town in the whole state.
Yeah, there was one.
Yeah, we're probably not talking about a huge sample here, right?
Yeah, no.
Because it is Alaska.
Yeah, but, and Bruce just look at his Mustang from that era. Yeah. Now, the other thing that I noticed, too, and I've been back to Detroit for the Woodward Dream Cruise, and I noticed back there are less Chevys and Fords. There are more Mopars, Oldsmobiles, and Pontiacs there.
Oh.
And the shift to collector vehicles, what is the passion, is different based on where you live. And notice that back east, or what I call back east now, Dodge Chargers. I mean, I like Dodge Chargers, too. The claim to fame for the Dodge Chargers probably those guys that used to jump them and crash them all the time.
The Dukes of Hazzard.
Dukes of Hazzard. But my favorite Dodge Charger, and I'd love to get one now, would be a 66. I like the old big fastback.
Yeah, and, you know, it's interesting, too. I think it works both ways. You know, there's sort of a legacy to the whole classic car world, so that people that were Ford people before sort of tend to stay that way and so on. What also happens, though, is that in the last few years we've seen the reintroduction of the Dodge Challenger and Charger and so forth with a cool design, similar to what happened with the Camaro just a few years ago. And that's really spurred some interest in the older cars as well. So it works both ways.
Yeah, now, it was interesting. Now, how did you go about doing this survey?
Well, we get 10 million searches per month on the cars, right? So we're able to identify where the searches are coming from, and also, of course, where the cars are. So we took that data, and you know, again, this is sort of like a window into the searches, and you know, came up with these results.
Oh, this is great. Now, the website you've got, you sell cars, but you've got information as well. And what is the website address?
The website address is ClassicCarscom, and like I said, we also have a daily news that is seen by about 250,000 people as well.
Wow. And Roger, admittedly, this is Bruce, by the way. I have been to your site because I've been kind of toying with the idea of picking up just a junk, horrifyingly, hopefully not rusty, but anything else goes, 1957 Thunderbird. You guys got some great listings on your site.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Thank you. And it's taken years to build that kind of trust, you know, among the folks that are coming in. And we get some great stories of people that, you know, every generation reaches a point where, you know, they reach a certain age, and just like they're trying to buy the cars, there are a certain age group that are starting to sell them. And that's exactly what's happening with cars like the 50s, for an example. There's more cars being sold than there are cars being bought, and the prices are going down because of it.
Yeah, and I've noticed that I work for one of the leading organizations that insures these things, and one of the things I've had trouble with many owners is they've got a car. They've spent $150,000 restoring this car. They've been watching Barrett Jackson for the last 6 years, but haven't been watching it lately. And they want an astronomical value for a vehicle, and they've gone down. And I had one today where I had to explain to someone that in the last 4 years, the value has actually gone down compared to what it was 5 years ago.
I think that's exactly right. And remember that 5 years ago we were coming out of a recession, so there was a lot of pent-up demand, after a few years of people not buying them. And I think what you're saying is exactly correct. People mistake what they put into the car for what they think they can get for it, and it really is, like I said earlier, a labor of love to a lot of extent. And to get top dollar, regardless of what work you did, if the cars aren't popular right now, then that's going to hurt a little bit. But we've got a ton of buyers coming in all the time, and if it's priced appropriately, and I think what you said about auctions is very true. You get 2 or 3 people that are bidding on the same car. That sort of course, puffs up the amounts of the cars. But on the marketplace, where you have a bunch of the same cars, you get a chance to really see what they're worth, and you can make a real good buy and a good sale.
Very good. Well, Roger, I do appreciate you calling in. We've got your website. We'll be posting that as well on our Facebook site for people to grab and take a look at. And hopefully we get you some more people that didn't know you were out there. But obviously you get a lot of people hitting you. But I thought this article about the popular cars, the searches by state, was just a really interesting thing.
Well, thank you so very, very much for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. Not a problem. We'll
have to have you on again, too, about some other topics that you guys come up with.
Sounds great. Thanks again, guys.
Thanks, Roger. Have a great evening.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye now.
All right. Well, that was good. And I'm glad we talked to him because it confirms some of the things that I've been saying and we've been talking about when we're not on air. We do chatting about these things, and we were talking about just what we did about the values of cars.
Yeah. I've long, I don't know if worry that's probably too strong a word, but the coverage that we get on television of the big auctions, the Barrett Jacksons and the all the big houses. That tends to puff up and inflate car values in people's minds that are far beyond what they're really worth, because it's the old phrase, what is it? It's worth what somebody will pay for it.
Yeah.
And those cars are not your typical car. Those things are beyond, at least in most cases, they are far over restored compared to the guy who's got that '57 Thunderbird I'm looking for in his garage.
Right. Now, one of the other things too is a couple of years ago I volunteered as a driver at one of the leading auctions. And although everything gets filmed, not everything gets on the show. So you don't get to see the cars that have realistic bidding to an extent.
Okay.
But what you also don't see, that it doesn't show up, as I drove some really pieces of crap, but on screen they look beautiful.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that everyone looks at it and says, well, my car is just the same as that. Well, not necessarily.
Yeah.
And the other situation, too, is, just like we talked, the demographics are changing. Those people that have the money are buying certain cars based on their likes and desires. But it has absolutely nothing to do with what it costs to restore.
Yeah.
You can spend $150,000 restoring a Yugo. It's still a Yugo.
Yeah.
It's just dollar for dollar. A car is not worth what you spend. It's worth what the market is. And that's something, when you pick a car to restore, that's something to look at that a lot of people just don't do.
Well, there you go. And I know, we got people waiting on the phone. We got loads of topics to talk about. But just, on the whole changing demographic thing, I believe the oldest car I noticed, amongst a couple of different ones on that map that we showed, were it's about a 55, is about as old as it went on that map for, it was a Thunderbird, and then there was a 56 Bel Air in one of the other states.
There's a 51 F100.
Okay, you're right. Or an F1 it might have been.
F1, because it wasn't F100 at that time. It was F1 until 1953.
But you're right, much later than the brass era classics.
Right, and those cars are gone. I mean, those people have them, and they think they're going up in value, and the reality is the hardcore restored car that is a true classic. And just because you call it a classic doesn't make it a classic, and because it's old doesn't make it a classic. But the true classics, the Packards, the Duesenbergs, those cars are going up in value. However, the market is shrinking on those.
Yeah.
So although the value is going up, the demand is not.
Can I say something?
Oh, sure.
That's not true, because you can drive them at the Automobile Driving Museum. That's where they all went.
Oh, that's where they
That's where they went.
And speaking of the Automotive Driving Museum, Cynthia Hernandez is here with us, and Tara is on the phone. Tara, how are you doing?
Doing great.
Hi, Tara.
Hi, Tara.
Hello.
You got your fan club here, Tara.
Yeah.
It's all about girls in the automobile industry tonight.
That's right.
Totally.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Girls in the cars, yes. So you've got a great event coming up that's going to be an all-day event for the most part into the evening. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what's happening?
Absolutely. We're so excited about it. It's in conjunction with our current exhibit called A Women's Touch on the Automotive Industry. And on July 8th, 2017, in conjunction with SEMA's Collector Car Appreciation Day, we will be doing what's called a day of women in speed. So we're inviting people down. Bring your collector car, for one, because we'll still have a collector car cruising, which is free. But we're going to have a fan day during the day from 11 to 2 with some of the top women in racing. So Shirley Muldowney is coming to the museum. Lynn St James will be there. Jessie Combs and Paula Murphy. We have a few other women that we are talking to that are either going to come during the day or during the evening, so we're not 100% confirmed, so we can't put their names out on air yet, but we estimate anywhere between 6 to 10 women racers, ranging from age 16 all the way up to 88 will be there. Woo. And then in the evening, it's going to be a banquet dinner and panel discussion. And thank you to Bob for being our moderator for that evening, where people can come and join us and meet and greet and take photos and get autographs and have personal one-on-one discussions with these amazing women who really kind of set the tone for women racing in the day and currently racing.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting, too. The ladies that you've already got, the four. Jessie Combs is the newcomer, and she's done Bonneville, and she's more noted for her television show. But Paula Murphy and Lynn St. James, a lot of people don't realize the impact they had. We all know Shirley Muldowney. She got a lot of publicity because she was just one of the top drag racers. But Paula Murphy and Lynn St. James, they had a varied career from drag racing to road racing to Bonneville. And Lynn St. James is still involved helping other women get involved in motorsports.
Right, and she's really mentoring a lot of young women, and she has a few of them that she's talking to right now who may be joining us. And like I said, the youngest is 17 years old that we're talking to. And we're also talking to Southern California Drag Racing Association. They have junior dragsters.
Yes.
And they have some young girls as young as 9, 10, 11, 12 who are learning how to drive these junior dragsters.
Well, the benefit of the Junior Dragster program, our current points leader in NHRA Top Fuel, Leah Pritchard, started out as a Junior Dragster driver. Yep. Two-time Pro Stock champ, Erica Ender-Smith, started out in Junior Dragsters. So, in fact, I was talking to Leah. We did a panel discussion at the Winter Nationals this year, and Leah was on that. My son's about the same age as she is, and when she was racing, my son, although he loved racing, he wanted to see Leah and Erica. They were racing at the same time.
Yes, yep.
And, it was just amazing. Now, one of your docents is here with us.
Yes.
Hi, Tara.
Hey, Cynthia.
Hi.
Cynthia, why don't you tell us a little bit about your function there?
Well, first of all, the Auto Driving Museum is such a special place. It really is. They are so hands-on there, and it's all about the people that come in and, appreciate these amazing cars. This whole collection is just unbelievable. But, as a docent, I come in and give tours to visitors and take them around the museum. And talk a little bit about the cars, and everybody has questions about the history or who drove it, engines and stuff like that. And, it's the fascinating thing is that I love so much too is everybody has a story of their own about the old car that they have, or that they used to have, or the family had. And it's, it just, the conversation just kind of goes from there, And then on Sundays, we offer rides for visitors. And they usually pick 3 or 4 cars out of the collection of the museum, and we drive them around for a couple blocks in one of the cars of their choice. So that's really fun. I love doing that. I just started doing that a couple weeks ago. It's awesome.
Now you're a collector car owner yourself, though.
I am.
What do you have?
I have a 65 Dodge Dart GT convertible.
Yeah. Oh, her car is beautiful. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
It's fun. That's for sure.
Do you know who was driving at the museum today?
No. Who?
Beaver. From Leave It to Beaver.
Is that right?
Yeah.
He was getting a ride in a Corvair there today.
Yes, he was.
Yes. So even
fun.
Celebrities are hitching rides at the Automobile Driving Museum.
We had Tony Dow's there today. We've had Joey Logano come in and drive about 5-6 of our Fords. We have a couple other celebrities coming the next few weeks, which I can't announce, but they're going to come and take some rides and drive. And Cynthia's being great, but our docents, without our docents, our museum wouldn't function. They do everything. They fix our cars. They're retired mechanics. They make sure our cars are running. They take people for rides. They do the tours. They help with everything: car shows, administration, PR, marketing. I mean, I have an amazing team of volunteers that really make this museum function. It's incredible.
You've got a lot of events coming up and a lot in the past. I was just there for Girls in the Garage, which was a great event. We had over 100 women-owned vehicles and women there, which was great. And Patty Fairchild helped spearhead that. That's going to happen every year there, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Now we're going to be the home for that. And it's great because the car show gives back money for the Girls in the Garage program at El Camino College. So the money that we make there, we send it off to Girls in the Garage to really help continue to promote women, coming into this industry, no matter what they do within the car industry, auto industry. So that's kind of a very exciting for us as well. And we just started a scholarship program with the El Camino College in the tech and automotive department, helping students, get their certifications and go through the program at El Camino. So that's another benefit that we've been able to do with Patty Fairchild.
What type of events do you have coming up? Obviously, we talked about the all day. You're going to have the open, the cruise in the morning, and then the banquet in the evening. What other events are happening that people might want to go? I know you do the Gassers show every year.
Yes, we have. Well, right now we're doing a car show, at least one car show, sometimes 2 car shows a month. In June, we have the all-British car show with the OC British Invaders live band performing. In July, we have the Women in Speed event, and we have air-cooled VWs and vintage scooters show. Then in August, we have the Corvette show, and we have our Gassers. It's our 4th year in a row doing the Gassers. And today, I was so excited. Today, we had the senior editor from Old Schools magazine and Car Culture Deluxe come, and she and some of her team and friends brought small pedal cars, 7 of them, that are all like Gassers. They're Gassers, pedal cars, and we have a stroller that's a dragster. And they're on display at the museum right now, getting ready for the Gasser show.
And we have Anna sitting right in between Cynthia and myself right now.
No.
Yes.
There she is. It's my fault.
I was so happy. I mean, it's a huge. Everybody's super excited about it. I sent an email to docents. People are coming in and taking pictures. I mean, my son is going to freak out when he sees them. I'm really excited about it. It's a lot of fun.
Well, once you start this thing with the pedal cars, next time you do pedal cars, you're going to get hundreds of these because they show up in mass at the regular car shows.
I'm telling you, we would love to, because it's like our vintage scooter that's starting, where all these vintage scooters are coming out of nowhere, and that's a really neat thing. We have people bringing their scooters from the 40s, 50s, and 60s to the show in July.
Oh, that's going to be great. So this is going to be fun.
Yeah.
Based on the shows that you've told me about just now, or told our viewers about just now, I know I'm going to be there in August for the Corvette show because I like Tupperware cars. And so that's going to be fun. I'm going to be there for your event in June and July. So it's just going to be, it's fun. And I enjoy the venue. It's a beautiful, you get up close and personal with the cars.
Yeah, we like to consider ourselves, we call ourselves the petting zoo. We have taken away stanchions. We let people enjoy the car. They can get up and close. With docents and volunteers, we allow them to open the doors, sit in the car, and either remember what it was like when they owned that car, or get a feeling of what it would have been like, or what it was like. We have a lot of kids coming. We have a lot of summer camps that bring kids, and they get to sit in these cars, and to them, it's unbelievable. Nothing's got computers in it, and they're huge cars, and their minds just go, "Oh my God, people drove these cars." Yeah.
Yeah, I know we were there for the Girls in the Garage. My wife brought her car out. We saw a lot of friends out there, made some new friends, and talked to a lot of people that maybe didn't know about your museum until then.
Yes. Yeah, and that's the truth. It's, when I came to the museum a little over a year and a half ago, it was considered that best kept secret, and one of our things we said was, why? We don't want this to be a secret. We want to share it with everyone. So that's what we're doing, and with people like you and Anna and Cynthia and people helping us getting the word out, people come in and go, wow, I didn't even know about this place. So, come visit. We'll show you around.
What are your hours of operation if someone wanted to come over?
Sure. We are Tuesday through Sunday, 10 to 4. And then, of course, on Sundays we do the rides. And about 2 Saturdays a month we have some sort of event, whether it's for kids like Hot Wheels Garage, where we open up the Mattel Garage and we have life-size Hot Wheels cars, 8 to 10 of them for the kids. Or it's for the adults when we have all the car shows and the bands and that. And if you go to our website, you'll see for the rest of the year we still have a lot of car shows coming up all the way through November.
And you also have some special speakers coming in too, right? Ed Iskandarian and Bones Balo and Shirley Cha-Cha Muldowney will be there.
Yes, yeah, and Bones and Iski are coming for the Gassers 4, and they do a great panel, and they do autographs, and they're just wonderful to have. So we have that coming, and then we'll have a couple other speakers that we're setting up, talking about kind of the, with the city of Los Angeles and transportation and where cars, what they're planning for the future, and how can we keep the car culture alive in the current, younger generation that's growing and what things will change, and so that we're scheduling for sometime in the fall.
All right, now where would they find information about the museum? What is the website address?
Just www.theadm.org.
Okay, and is there a phone number they can call if they're not computer literate?
Yeah, 310-909-0950.
All right, that's great. And, these events are going to be big. I've already been to 3 events at your location, and I know I'm going to make some more. Any closing thoughts, Tara, about the museum?
I would just say, please come on down, enjoy your ride in the cars, and get a feel for it. And if any of the dads are listening on Father's Day, we're doing rides and beer tasting. So we're taking out about 5 cars, and then the dads get to enjoy a beer tasting. But you got to make sure your wives or daughters or someone else is driving you.
Yeah, maybe do the rides first, then the beer tasting.
Get a ride,
exactly.
Have a beer. Yeah, you may need the beer after the ride, depending on who's driving.
Yeah.
But that's another story. All right, Tara, thank you very much for calling in. We're going to be talking about the museum and the events coming up throughout the season. Every time you have a new event, we'll be talking to you.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, and take care, everybody. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Tara.
It's restless. It's civilized. It's challenging. It's serene. Cougar. Mercury Cougar XR7, an uncommonly luxurious breed of personal car for 75. Just as unique in its own class as Continental Mark IV, with the rich feel of glove-soft vinyl on deeply padded bucket seats, with a full array of instruments clustered for easy viewing. Luxury features have become a tradition with Cougar, with optional moonroof, sure-footed steel-belted radio tires that ride on radio-tuned suspension, poised opera window, bold classic grille. Mercury Cougar XR7.
Cougar, it's like nobody else's car. Cougar.
At the sign of the cat.
This is the new 1951 Nash Airflight, built the same way as the modern airliner and streamlined train. Specially designed for greater strength, greater safety, and the smoothest, quietest drive you ever enjoyed, thanks to exclusive Nash Airflight construction. In a Nash Airflight, you'll see the world through an undivided sky-wide windshield and enjoy the comfort of Nash's exclusive Weather Eye conditioned air system. There's legroom galore and hydromatic drive if you desire it. A spill-proof storage drawer instead of a cluttered glove compartment. And there's economy that's amazing in a car so big and luxurious. So before you decide, take an Airflight ride in the world's most modern car, the 1951 Nash Airflight.
That was a Cougar with Farrah Fawcett.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah, and, I love the way she had that little tiger up there, or cougar up there, and she was able to calm and docile.
On the beach.
Yeah,
On the beach.
On the beach.
Yeah.
That was a time, too, it was, they were talking about the 1975 Cougar, and it was a time when the horsepower wars had ended.
Yeah.
The insurance had clamped down. OPEC was, jacking up prices for gasoline, and we were just going, okay, now what are we going to do? All right. All of the advertising direction, what you wanted to buy as a car buyer, was completely different than it was 5 years earlier.
Yeah, and you had to get used to, now it's luxury, and this, forget about the power, but it's luxury.
That's right.
You can't get out of your own way, and by the way, you're going to buy shares in Chevron because you're going to have to feed this thing. Yeah. It gets worse mileage than the muscle cars did. Yeah. But that was a change. And we just lost the call, unfortunately.
Yeah, dial back, won't you?
Yeah,
dial
Larry,
back.
Call back in. We want to talk about those Hertz cars.
But you know what? Those cars, those big cruisers, they were called gentlemen's hot rods.
Yeah.
And they say that the cruisers got the girls.
Well, and
kept them.
Know. Yeah, the
Now I know why.
It's a rolling sofa.
Problem.
You could make out in that car very easily, and then you would go into the dealership hoping that Farrah Fawcett would come with it.
No, see, that was more of the conversation you have at the driving museum with those big Packards and stuff.
Oh, yeah,
they start talking. Remember when we had the two kids were back seat? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Back seat. Hey, Cynthia, I had a question for you. Since you're a docent there at the museum, what is the oldest car that you've driven from the museum or just in general?
Let's see. I just actually, on Mother's Day, I took out a 41 Plymouth sedan, deluxe sedan.
Oh, okay.
And, with the 3-speed on the column, and the clutch was so super high. It was so fun to drive. Every single car has such a personality of its own. I mean, it does not matter if it's, one of those old ones, one of the Packards, or, the Charger we had. I mean, they all just have such a personality.
Have any of you guys driven something old enough like a Model T that has a completely different pedal arrangement, or a right-hand drive car from the teens, or something where you're placed in a completely different environment and you go, I don't know what to do here?
Well, you know what we do? We have 2 of them there, and actually they're going to teach me how to drive one.
Wow.
Because there are only 2 drivers right now that can take that car out.
The Model T?
The Model T.
Yeah.
And looking at that and them explaining it to me and stuff, oh my goodness.
I know.
It's going to be really fun
Ford
to drive, but it's something to learn.
Ford had a better idea. Let's confuse people.
Yeah.
Because you got 3 pedals.
Yeah.
One is not the clutch. That's reverse.
Exactly.
I mean, it's just like, what? And, as popular as the Model T was, it had a planetary transmission back in the teens, or when they started them. and it was totally unique. No other car had that transmission, but Henry had an idea, and that's the way it was supposed to work.
A planetary transmission, correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah. It's gears within gears, more of more big round shapes stuffed inside each other rather than the longitudinal sort of gear selection that we're much more used to.
Well, yeah, and it's like an automatic transmission is basically a planetary transmission with a torque converter hydraulically operated.
Yeah.
Whereas Henry Ford, he made it a manual transmission. You only had 2 speeds forward, and you had one in reverse, but to get to reverse, you push the third pedal down. And it was just a whole different situation.
Have you ever driven one?
No, and I'm too confused to do it. I know the function of it, but I've never driven one. And we've got one at the office that I work at.
Yeah,
and we've got an old pickup. But it's just, and one of the guys was asking me, they didn't know, they kept pushing in the reverse and figuring the car won't roll. Well, no, it doesn't roll when you push the third pedal. It's not a clutch. And they didn't understand that concept, and the guy was older than me.
Yeah, see,
old.
That's what I'd be worried about, Cynthia, is hitting the wrong pedal, and it's like, Model Ts aren't worth gold, but still, I don't want to break anything. But of course, those things are kind of bulletproof at the same time, even though they look spindly. But they were built to last. So,
and they were rugged back then.
Yeah, indeed. Hey, I wanted to get something in here. I don't even know if I have this. Was there a shout-out? Anna, you were talking to something to do with Bobby. Oh, you're on a wall of fame somewhere. I'll have to see if I can find this photo.
Bobby, I sent him the Anna Octane. I am. There it is. You'll see the little red arrow above the Xerox machine.
Okay, let's see if we can zoom in here.
That is Anna Octane, and that is the Dragmaster Wall of Fame that Bobby Schlegel has as a
there
tribute.
You are.
There I am.
Wow,
I'm a hot rod doll.
Yes, I've got that
photo
sticker.
was taken in New Zealand.
You're kidding.
When I was there with
the one on the left or the right?
The one on the left. The one on the right's me and my alter ego.
Depends on what angle you're looking at it from.
I guess so, right?
The left
and
is
I'm sitting on Stormy's blower.
Wow. Okay.
Some drag racers have all the fun.
And how did that make you feel, Stormy? Oh, never mind.
Well, I don't get paid, so something's got to go on somewhere.
Okay. Well, all right.
But Bobby's got that tribute wall, and a lot of that photography was given to him by Dode Martin.
Yes.
For the Dragmaster car that he has, and so I wanted to give him a shout out. And
he's watching right now.
And he's watching, and also say hi to Taylor. And Mitch Hines, too, because Mitch is still plugging away on the Studebaker.
And the shout-outs to Bobby Schlegel, who's back in New York right now, unless he's traveling someplace else. And we've got Martin Chesworth and Ingrid over in Great Britain, Marty Wood in Australia, and a host of... And Ingrid in...
England.
No, the other Ingrid, in Sweden.
Oh, we have 2 foreign Ingrids.
That's right. And Peggy's watching right now, too.
Hi, Peggy.
I think she is watching. She's telling everyone to tune in. She's sharing the show, and you can do that as well. If you were watching the show on Facebook, share it for us.
I just had to do this because we were talking about Bobby. And
here he is.
It's Bobby.
Yeah. Hey, Bobby, you're on the air.
Hey, what's happening,
Hi,
gang?
Bobby.
Hey, Anna. How's it?
Now that I'm on your wall, it's actually the wall of shame. The wall of fame.
I got more every time somebody comes over to look at that wall. I got more compliments than one that just where everything came from. And like I said, Dode, that one picture above yours, that was when he was. The one picture is the 5 of the people he had it there was Tom Nelson. In the middle is Mr. Chrisman, who passed away, Perdome, Dode, and I forgot the crew chief next to him. Sorry, guy. I can't remember. And then above that was when Dode... Huh?
He'll let you know.
Yeah.
And then above that was when Dode, the town honored Dode for all of his stuff, that big... vertical picture. That's all pictures from him during his days and stuff, when picture with his wife and all his early drag masters and everything there.
Nice.
Yeah. And then the one right to the right of that with the 22, that was when he got inducted into the Hall of Fame, and he autographed that and sent that out to me.
Oh, that's cool. 22 Junior, that was the upholstery guy, Tony Nancy.
Tony Nancy's, yep. Yep. It's a bunch of people, a bunch of the racers that got inducted that year, and the upper right car on that is Dode and Jimmy's famous 2 thing, their twin-engine Potvin car.
Yeah, you got to look at those chassis, and I look at yours all the time. It's just amazing.
What's in the upper left? That looks like the Diora.
No, the upper left, that looks like...
one of the Bonneville cars?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's the Bonneville car.
Oh,
okay.
It
does look like the Diora. We're looking... If it was the Diora, we'd be looking at the rear of it.
Oh, okay.
With the cab facing to the right, right? Yeah.
Yep.
But, yeah. Bonneville car, big wing, big rudder in the back.
So how's the weather in New York?
Today was pretty good. It was 71, sunny, and tomorrow I'm going to be seeing underneath the race car. I got to put a rear together back in my friend's Chevelle that I crew chiefed with him for like 10 years, so we're updating it, so that's getting ready.
That's good. How's the racing scene started? Is things going good?
They started pretty good. Yep. I'm not doing too much with the drag racing this year because I got the nostalgia cars I want to get out.
Okay.
And then...
Did you have any luck selling your nostalgia dragster?
No, I had it on eBay, and then the one guy that was bidding against it's the one that's got the bad reputation, so I just...
you know what? Maybe you ought to put it on ClassicCarscom. I was
thinking of that. I got all the information here.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm going to give them a shot and see if it's something that can go on their site and try it out there.
You never know. They may have a race car aspect of it. We got to go through that site after we talk to these guys.
Definitely.
It's an amazing thing. Now, Bruce has got your shirt on. We all have your shirt, but Bruce wore his tonight.
I know, he wears it out. I'm going to have to send him, it's going to be like a uniform service. I'm going to have to keep supplying them and send them back to me so I can wash them and send them back to them.
Well, you know,
they're all ironed and everything.
That won't break my heart, man. Yeah. Look, that means you do all the work and I just wear it. So
There you go. Yeah. There you go. I'm sure it keeps a lot of people going. I remember Drag Masters, and maybe we'll get some more of them back out there restored and everything and keep them happy.
That's great. That's it. All right. Hey, Bobby, thank you for calling in. And we'll be talking to you later on.
Anytime.
Take care.
We'll be in touch. All right. Be safe, everybody.
We will.
Stand by. Great American Auto Scene, and we're going to be back with more in mere seconds.
The Chrysler Corporation. Look to the forward look. Everything about it is brand new. All the country took to the forward look. And so by Jiminy, will you?
It's easy to see the country roll by. The swept back windshield is the reason why. Our power steering works full time. Our power brakes let you stop on the dime.
Look to the forward look. Everything about it is brand new. All the country took to the forward look. And so by Jiminy, will you?
Power fly transmission makes you go like flash with drive selector on the dash. Men love the engine most of all, so powerful it makes them feel 10 feet tall.
Look to the forward look. Everything about it is brand new. All the country took to the forward look. And so by Jiminy, will you?
Put it all together and you have got the car of the year that is genuine hot. Its beautiful lines are so low, low, low. Even standing still, it looks like go.
Look to the forward look. Everything about it is brand new. All the country took to the forward look. And so by Jiminy, will you?
But don't buy a Jiminy.
Buy a Plymouth, Dodge, DeSoto, Chrysler, or Imperial. The forward look from Chrysler Corporation. Chrysler Corporation.
All right, we're back. Welcome to Gas, the Great American Auto Scene. I'm Hot Rod Bob Beck, and as always, you've got gas, along with Anna Octane, Bruce Barker. Cynthia Hernandez is with us, and Stormy, we kept him in the back hidden.
There he is. Hey, Snakebite, you're on the air, man.
Oh, I just phoned in to bug my good friend Bruce there. Hi, everybody.
Hey, how you doing, Bob?
You're not going to repeat what you said to me just now on the phone?
I said that you're the world's greatest producer, and I don't know how the heck you make Bob Beck look so great.
Well, Cynthia had the makeup kit.
That's what it was. Yeah,
that's what it is. Normally I don't look anywhere like this. I'm tall and I've got curly black hair, and she just made me look totally different.
Incognito.
Hey, Snakebite, we only got like 90, less than that now because I started talking seconds. But how you been? Everything good?
Yeah, how you feeling? You just had a little episode there.
Yeah, you should have seen their faces when I walked down the staging lanes at Grand Bend on the weekend. Yeah, for some reason they demanded a doctor's letter to let me burn down the track, so I just couldn't see opening day go by without me being there, and we relieved them of some of their hard-earned cash, and so yeah. I'm doing better, Bob, but it's going to be something I got to live with for the rest of my life. So, all
right, well, that'll be another 50 years or so.
Yeah,
yeah. One day I'll be as gray as Parker there.
Oh, that's what he said.
Yeah, that's what.
Now we finally come back to what this conversation started out as.
So we're going to change you to a top fuel guy because you're going to be on Nitro, right?
That's right. So. It's I like the show. I really tune in quite a bit.
Good.
Whenever I can, of course, I have a reminder now. As soon as you go on the air, and as soon as it hits Facebook, I'm all over it. So looking good, guys. Even up here in Canada, we actually got rid of the snow and we're racing. The car shows are all firing up now. So
beautiful.
Yeah. I sure miss my days coming to California when there's 3 feet of snow and it's minus 40 back home.
Yeah, well, we miss you down here, too. We were lucky enough with the old Speed Scene studio that you would come in every once in a while. We'd talk about Canadian racing and your cars and your exploits, and then you're a long-haul trucker, so you'd be all over the country.
I don't do that anymore. I don't even leave Ontario, Canada anymore.
Wow!
I just run. I run short. I'm home every night, and my wife says, "You know something? 28 years we've been married, and now you decide to stay home every night."
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand. She took you for better or worse, not breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Anyhow, I just had to phone in, and I will send you a video of my wall of shame.
Oh, good.
We'll get it on the air.
I'll send you a picture for your wall of shame if you want one.
Brilliant.
Bob knows my address, so if you really want to send one, you can send one.
Yeah.
We'll do it.
I would be honored to put it up.
All right, we appreciate that, Bob. Hey, take care of yourself. And we'll be talking to you more as the year goes by. We'll find out what the racing exploits were like, and you can give us a Canadian report.
Thank you, Bob, and thank you, everybody. You're all doing a wonderful job.
We'll appreciate that. Thanks, Bob.
Thanks.
Thanks. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Okay, before we run out of time, Bob, I know we got to talk briefly about what's coming up on the next Great American Auto Scene.
Well, we missed it tonight. Well, we'll get done, and this is just a teaser of the brand new Hurst Challenger. It is gorgeous. We got to see it up front and personal this last weekend, and we're going to talk to Larry more about it the next show. So tune in 2 weeks. Remember, the 2nd and 4th Wednesdays of the month, you get gas here on Great American Auto Scene. And remember, drive it on the streets, but only race it on the tracks. We want you to be safe, and we want you here to watch the show.
Well, indeed. I'm Bruce Barker, and you would be, sir?
I'm Hot Rod Bob Beck.
There's Anna. Wait, fill in the blank because
Octane.
Hey, Cynthia, thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Did I see Stormy Bird over there?
You did. Oh, look at that in the background. It's a ghost.
The two-headed beast.
The ghost of drag racing past.
All right, folks. Hey, thanks for joining us tonight. The encore presentation of this very show comes up next. And thanks as well for joining us either at gotgas.com or Facebook Live. And, of course, if you want to check out past shows, that's all on the archives page at gotgas.com. We'll see you in a couple of weeks right here at the Great American Auto Scene. Good night.